Huh, that was weird. I think we are live. Let me double check here. I don't really need to record this. It's going to be on YouTube anyways. Let me just change a few things here. It's Friday. Usually is Friday when we do these streams. Um, it's Friday. So Friday. Let's start this. Let's start this off. It's what is it? It's November 8th here. Friday, we're gonna dub it Capital Preservation Friday. Naturally, it's been a tough week. It's been a long week. It's been an interesting week. We've had a lot of news. We've had a lot of movement in this market. Kind of a dud of a Fed event yesterday, which is a little out of the ordinary, but that's life realistically. I think a lot of the news was, or a lot of the I guess, hype and anticipation, uncertainty was kind of pulled out from the election this week. So it doesn't seem like the Fed had too much of spotlight just yet. But we did see a 25 base point cut yesterday. Markets did try to move to the upside, and I think that overall we're in an area of fragility now. Before we talk about that a little more, Capital Preservation Fridays. I think this is what this new segment's going to be called. Because Fridays, right, they can be a lot tougher depending on what kind of week you had, especially with a week like this week. This week was pretty damn difficult. I think that there was a lot of movement to the upside that might have caught a lot of people off guard. Ideally, didn't, but there's been a lot, right? We had the FOMC. We also had huge scandals coming out of the prop world, which has devastated a lot of traders. And I'm truly sorry about that. It's a very tough look, realistically, but unfortunately, it happened, right? So fast track trading, right? They just completely rugged everyone. And I know that a lot of people are affected by it. So that added to the volatility and the uncertainty of the week, which is really shitty. Unfortunately, it puts a big question mark on a lot of the prop space. There are some that I would still honestly stand by for now, right? Things do change, but they've been more reputable so far. Now, we also had the FOMC, which seemed like absolutely nothing yesterday. I had like one trade off of it. It was pretty shit. The S&P was a slow grind higher. And generally speaking, when we have these kind of situations where we have 2% up day, right? Or sorry, 2.5%. I think it's like the metric was like 2.4 or 2.5% up day on the S&P on the futures. Is generally the week following the next like 3 to 5 days, there's generally some kind of smaller pullback to the tune of 1 to 2%. So yeah, okay, we are pumping higher. We're doing pretty well overall, but I think one of the aspects that traders have to understand is that we are extremely overextended to the upside. I'm not saying sell every freaking rally. That's what we're going to go through in just a bit, talking about these auctions where those rallies can potentially break down and be sold from, because it seems like the top heaviness, we've seen multiple P-shaped volume profiles over the past like week just continuously pump higher and higher and higher. And this is the first one that's actually failing to get a close above it on the next session. So very interesting factor. Um, One of the things that I was mentioning last night in Discord as our overnight plan was I was trying to buy 84-ish on the S&P and 120s on the NASDAQ. And I got a partial fill here on the NASDAQ, but I'm not like a super fan of the continued long, in my opinion. We'll see how it shapes up, but let's see how it goes. Um, what was I thinking about? Sorry, I just got a text about this FTT shit. Anyways, before we jump into the equities, right? There's not really, I guess, like too much news right now, but let me just put Boxy on, and we'll talk about oil. We'll look at equities as well. and get a better idea of what's going on while this construction just starts here.
Good
Very
morning.
important factor.
Morning, Vic.
Morning, Bucks. How you doing?
Doing all right. You still constructing today?
Indeed. Indeed, I am. So ideally, it's okay, but yesterday was like really, really bad. I didn't hear anything, especially at the end. So that was super annoying. But right now, it's starting off a little slow, and we'll see how it shapes up by the end of this morning session.
Oh, that's good. Are you recording yet?
No, I'm just gonna. Well, it's record on YouTube. I'm just not gonna record it here.
Okay. So are you ready for me to go?
Yes, sir.
All right. Well, good morning, Victorio. Good morning, Trade Pro Academy, YouTube, everybody. Oil market is relatively flat. We opened 7 cents higher than we opened yesterday. Um, Came in off of an up day yesterday, and the Globex kind of pushed us back down. So we caught our open right on the VWAP, which is just above the pivot. Pivot's sitting at 70.96. The VWAP is opener up at the 71.38. So I'm sorry, the pivot's up at 71.91. S1 is down at 70.98. R1's up at 73.16. So there's not a trend on at this moment. We're just kind of going sideways. We'll evaluate this for a range. Looks like the bottom edge of the range is S1. You can see how well it's holding. Every time we've come into it since 5 something this morning, it's firmed up and held. So we may shoot to run a range, maybe get a range short off this VWAP and try to run it to S1. So we'll watch it and trade it, let you know what's up. Back to you, Victorio.
All right, let's take a look at these equities here because I do I tried to get along on the overnight with the ES and the Nasdaq. The ES, what I posted in our chat was like 84-ish, I think, 83, 86 area. That's where I put some limits. I was trying to get along like 125 um area on the Nasdaq down to about like 110-ish, kind of spread my limits there. Obviously, not all of them got filled, but we'll make do with whatever's left here. And I do like it for the upside swing. I'll explain why. I can put like we're in an all-time high situation on both of these markets, right? Nasdaq made an all-time high yesterday, so that's something new. But when we're in an all-time high situation like this, you don't necessarily have that much new data when it comes to volume and profiles and areas that we're trading overall. So I look at it from a session to session perspective as well as the last like 5 days, getting a read based on what's going on the weekly profile here, I should say. So like if I go session by session, what we've seen is just like a constant barrage of just like upside momentum with these like P-shaped volume profiles. Generally, a P-shaped volume profile. Where's the pen tool? Generally, like a P-shaped volume. This is so poorly drawn. Generally, like a P-shaped volume profile does indicate some kind of weakness, right? This like low volume area, this low auction area, and the start of it, right? The breakdown of it over here is going to be the most immediate support, but generally it's an easy fill to go and clean that up, right? You get this kind of balance that creates the top of the P that is sideways rotation. Generally that means that the buy side is getting a little stuck. There's no real aggressive buying, otherwise we would have just continued the route up. So like the selling is trying to take over that. That's generally what we'd look at when we come into a P. But when we have these P's, remember, right, this, oh my god, can I ever draw it properly? Like when we have these, that's even worse maybe. When we have these P's, like this area over here, the, I guess, I don't know, top band of it, the balance area, is expected to sustain some kind of balance at the bottom band. So, which is pretty much like this area where the low volume dropped off. This was on, I don't know, the 6th, right? The day after the election. So, Wednesday. So, this area generally, yeah, okay, we were trading into an area that had a larger 200-day profile. So, we could have leaned a little on that. But then the following days, right, we're going through with this on this overnight session. You have this like kind of chunky P over here that drops off where this volume drops off. I would say closer to like 60, 59, 60 area. We didn't necessarily trade it. We continued higher, right? Continued bullish momentum. It's the same situation right now where we have like this chunky balance over here met with the last 2 days cumulative profile. So like for me, I'm looking at this, and this was the area that I was looking at on the overnight. You can see around like 85 or something like that, like give or take a few handles on the spoos. This area right here, this balance low area, that's my expectation for the buy side to try and hold. The issue with that is um we've got a huge extension to the upside, so it becomes like a domino effect if we like lose that area. I think it's like an easy slip to the downside from there. So like you don't really have that much volume realistically to these swings. Now, the good thing is, unlike the last time we were rotating into these highs like a few weeks ago, you actually have volume that's supporting the upside momentum. You're having days that are over 1 million contracts traded on the RTH. If you compare that to just a few weeks ago it was on average 750,000. So like they're still sustaining and holding out that buy side momentum on like decent volume. So I'll give them the benefit of the doubt and see, okay, can we actually hold these areas where we would create the continuation of all this like bullshit little balance. So like yeah, if we lose 85, I do think that there is a little more downside, but there is the potential around this 60 area, mid 50s to 60 to have the potential of like an attempted buyer to come back in. It's just at that point, I think we get a little too top heavy and extended, and we can get a better breakdown. And the main target is the top of the prior balance, the large balance 59.10 area, right? So for me, a pivot area today is going to be plus or minus like a few handles of 59.85 on the spoos. I'd want to see that area hold support structure. If we lose it, honestly, I'd probably have to lean a little more on the bear side. I am a little more bearish today, like a little touch bearish, right? Trying to still keep it as capital preservation Friday, but a little touch bearish just because of these like extensions. This is the time for these players to take some profit going into the weekend. One of the things that I like to pull up is like this delta that's giving me more of an indication of where these guys are like really imbalanced. So this is one of the situations into yesterday's like highs. You have around 6,005, which is my immediate resistance, right? This is the immediate resistance area. A lot of like heavier selling trying to come in, net selling. You have a bunch of people trapped into the highs. You have some sellers coming in around that 6,005. So like yeah, I still am looking at this block. You can see here there's like some decent buying, right? I like it maybe somewhere here, some decent buying, some sellers trapped into the lows, but overall, I think it's like kind of a desperation play for the buyers to come in here. I'll be watching it. I'm just looking at this, and it just looks very top heavy from the imbalances that are shaping up around that 6,005 area on the spoos. So we'll see. We'll see that first test that area, 05 to like 7 area. See if these guys want to create a lower high, or is it just like the momentum to the upside swing? Like I said, around 85, right, for me is like the key criteria. If we lose that, then like fine, I think there's probably more of a slip, let's be honest. It's a similar situation here on Nasdaq. Nasdaq was leading the charge in terms of weakness overall over the last few weeks, and what a rally we have seen on this monster around the election and post-election. So as I'm looking at Nasdaq, it's a similar concept, except maybe you might think that the volume, if you will, is a little more obvious in this sense. So like if I look at this is the area that I was kind of noting in our group last night around that 125, 110 area. We lose this block, right? We kind of lose the balance of the general P that's like split up into, I guess, like smaller balances. And I'll be watching this area right over here where we have the overnight low volume as well drop off. You can see that this is the minor barrier from the overnight around 200, right? The 200 on the Nasdaq 21,200 has the capabilities of creating a potential lower high, and then seeing if we can slip under this 110 area, because a general target is going to be 21,000, 01, 010, 020, right? So I'll be watching for that slight little bearishness, but it's like a do or die at 21, 110, let's call it, on the Nasdaq, and then 59, like 85 on the spoos. So those are my pivots on the day. I don't want to get too cute with it. Again, like I said, capital preservation Friday is in full effect, and I'll wait like the first decent bit. Yesterday, I waited a very long time for the first trade. I ended up just like scratching it in the morning, which like I think that was a fool's error. But let's see today. I wouldn't be surprised if some of this sell side tries to take prices over and get us a little more of a disappointing Friday for all these buyers. So let me know if you have any questions leading up into this. We got like 6 minutes until this market opens. And ideally, I don't get disrupted by the construction. I don't see anyone dangling from the balconies just yet. I guess it's a good sign. You have like a decent clustering of Delta as well on Nasdaq. Like you can see where the sell side pressure kind of starts at the ledge of this like minor distribution area here, like around that 200, 215 area, right? From here and here, I would expect like if these guys are serious about any sell side pressure, because I got a little stuck down here, they'd want to sustain under these areas on that press. But I have a few little longs left on this NQ from the overnight. So let us see if it can go. I wish I got filled on those spoos. Could have just been triple whammy done. Let me look at this one thing on ChatGPT as we get ready. Warning everyone. MSA. No, I wouldn't even have gotten filled MSA on the spoos. It didn't trade down there. The first area I was trying to fill was like 86. I think what was the low of it, like 89 or something? No. All right, people. I just saw someone posted this on Twitter, so I thought I'd do it. Chat GPT. Okay, should I go long or short the market? Flip a coin and tell me. It's a long day. If this works, I'm just going to continue doing this. We're positioned very well. We're positioned very well for this gigabit rally today. There's no need to do research. Don't worry about that. Yeah, around like 6,005, 7. There's some decent like negative delta for potential sells on the spoos. That's like the area that you'd want to see like a lower high accumulation from there. AI knows best exactly. Elite strategy. Everything else is garbage. Got 30 seconds until something happens. Spoos are doing pretty well, those little bastards. 6,000. That was my target for the end of the year, but maybe we see a lot higher. And mind you, it wasn't my target from yesterday. It was my target from the beginning of the year. Here's the open. No, wrong way. Up, up. Eric, what's up? I see you raise your hand. Thought you were a fatty there for a second. I thought I'd check in. Strong bid continues here. Let's say around these 200s. I'll take one more on this DAS. And then this is the area like 200, 210, up to maybe like 215. We'd probably want to be a touch more careful. So I'm gonna take another around 225, but upside is still holding out very well. Um, let's see if they make a new high. Okay, great. But like this negative delta accumulation is like pretty much now. This would be the area where I would expect a little more of a potential failure. I'll even take another one out here and just leave two of these. My stops up a little. Just below this negative delta cluster. Just in case. S&P trying to make a new freaking all-time high. What was the high? I think like close to 13 or something yesterday. Nasdaq failing on the first test of these like 15s, 115s, 120-ish area. Friday by day still intact. There's a lot of accumulation of buy side here on the order flow for both of these assets right now, which obviously helping hand for the buyers.
Morning, Vic, Boxy, Trade Pros.
Thanks,
What's up,
too.
guys?
Buddy,
You? Nice long on the overnight, Vic.
Thank you. These guys are continuing. Spoos are about to make a new high. I got one left on this Nas. It's up 100 points. I had an entry about like spread in a 15-point area on the Nasdaq overnight, about a 4-point area on the SPOOs overnight, based on what I'd posted in Discord last night before I went to bed. But like, I don't know, I didn't get a full fill, so that's why I only have one little shit contract left. One better than none, obviously. Like, pulling the stop up a decent bit now. No one's really selling it, just like constant buying continues to persist. We're kind of blowing through a lot of the areas that I thought would present some kind of failure. I don't think that they're necessarily out of the woods just yet. That was a big seller actually that came in on the SPOOs as I was saying that. Let's see. Looking for imbalances. I'm looking for imbalances that tell me, okay, there's like some real selling, because when these imbalances come around, and there's just like a big seller that comes in and it like sweeps markets down. Let's say, excuse me, let's say like 10 points on the SPOOs, 5 points on the SPOOs, or like 20 points on the Nasdaq. Getting more of a confirmation that these guys are actually like, there's some real selling that's trying to happen right now, rather than some just like baby pullback for people to get trapped on the short at higher price and the rebid to just swing it back into highs. Like SPOOs had a pretty big seller at these like 10s, 11s. Let's see though. Because they're hair in my mouth. They flipped it back up pretty easily. Like, for people that are watching, I'm not really just like dying to find the short. I'm not like looking for the short right now. I'm just trying to identify, okay, like they're a little overextended, right? Maybe there's a failure, specifically on Nasdaq. Nasdaq, like maybe a weaker hand right now. Just trying to play devil's advocate, see who's contra here. Like the upside continues as long as that P stays intact that we talked about on the overnight. So now we wait. I don't even think there was a trade off this open anyways. Like, what are you gonna do? Just close your eyes and buy it? Like, I guess it's a possibility, it's an option. The best option, maybe not. Let's see. This Nasdaq keeps rejecting, but I don't really see a seller in it right now. Similar to these SPOOs, like there's no real seller right now on the SPOOs, so we could just coast higher. 6,100 is not that far. Yeah, it's kind of far. Hmm. I want to see like big sellers actually holding out. I think there could be on a decent attempted wave lower. Like Nasdaq for now is really trying to make a lower high. I respect it. But if there's no sweep of selling that just like dumps it 20 plus handles rather than people like selling into this low and just like getting a rebid, like fuck off. Spoo's trying to hold out a bit better, but I just don't see anyone that's that noisy on the offer. What a day. It's just rotation right now in the first 10 minutes, anyways. Huh. And a block of delta here imbalance that's trying to hold an offer. You got a lot of positive delta on the spoos right now. Sweep the high. So you get both of these DOMs right now. The bid tries to come in decent bit here. Hmm. This is where we are today. It's where we are, people. Yeah. In the morning, Chat GPT told us to buy. So if you're not long off the open, that's on you.
ChatGPT signals.
Yeah, Chat GPT signals flip the coin. Am I getting long or short? Just buy it
Yeah.
blind. No stops, just that market off the open.
Honestly, closing your eyes on buying this week has been great, off the open too.
For sure.
Yeah, this week is,
Only noobs think this
yeah.
week. Trying to think of what to do in the market. I got news for you. Getting outperformed by someone that's just buying clothes with closed eyes. Is this it finally? Jeez, these guys are waiting for some of this sell pressure to try to come into this. We see too much from the spoos. Nasdaq trying right now. Decent offering coming in on that. Finally, well, nice. Spoo's not down that much. Boom, 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 boom. Some pretty sizable selling is trying to happen here on Nas. S&P is in its own little world here. If these sellers get trapped on the Nas on this pullback, like, well, this is going to be a pretty quick snap up bid. Let's see. So far, they're doing their job. Okay, I'm flat this Nas right now. Yeah, you short those rotations into either of these. I think like you're fine. Like that's what it is. What the shit? I'm gonna start trying to get long Nasdaq. Where the hell did the market go? Fuck! Don't don't do this to me. See if I can get along these like mid 180s. Filled a little bit here. I'm not gonna do the much size. Hmm. You got this like a lot of negative delta here into these like 200s you want to be careful of. Started taking some off at like here's like plus 25. So you're just gonna move these stops to break even. Like I'm not playing games today. It's Capital Preservation Friday, people. It's fucking Capital Preservation Friday. Just waited. I just wanted to wait for someone to get stuck into that pullback and then just shoot him. Like not like a huge move. Like I'll take another one. I'll just leave like three of these little boys to dance. I know I moved my stop pretty quickly there, but like it's okay. Took like 5 points of heat, if that, not even. S&P into highs. Like the S&P, I was like, these guys don't want to go down, these fucking buyers. Whatever. A big seller comes in on NASDAQ here. Like the NASDAQ's a little weaker, I would say. Yeah. Yeah. Exactly, Steven. Bum, bum, bum. There's just a lot of imbalance here that could potentially spike a lower high on the NAS. Oh, one more of these. This position's up like 35 points right now. Honestly, I'm out like pretty much the majority of this shit. Like whatever happens here happens. I got two left. Like I think it was a fair little bet here. 120 like three or whatever trades. Let's see if we can pop the top on this. I got one resting order above that top to see if we can fill it, but these guys are nutty. Nasdaq's like a little weaker here. Maybe we let me see here. Just going through some of these like big tech names. Apple trying to come back to life. Microsoft doing well on the bid. Google, nice pump yesterday, but Meta, very nice move off of that auction low. These 560s, like fantastic. And we got Tesla. Tesla's been oh my god, where are you going, Tesla?
No,
Holy shit.
crazy run to the upside.
Crazy,
Just looking
crazy.
at it, yeah.
It's fucking gaps, man. Like I wanted
Yeah,
to, like over here after this little sell side from that like little event that was Brian and I were talking about getting long, and I'm like, fuck, do I just get long here? Like I was waiting for these guys to start crossing a little above these wicks. Then all of a sudden you get this like earnings report. It's gapped up like 7,000%.
yeah.
Well, that's a trade I didn't take. $220 again. A little hesitation on the sell because of
Because of the beatdown they got this week. Yeah. This is
yeah, but I mean like
uh,
S&P too, like it's kind of just like
yeah, it's
right?
struggling.
what 35 seems like reasonable on this NAS. These numbers are getting too big on the NAS. I can't even read them. I look at 216, I think it's 226. Really trying to get a little trapped into this high. A lot of positive delta forming on SPOOs. Let's see if we can break that top. I think SPOOs made an all-time high by like a point or something just now. Hmm. Buy the ES, remove it, take profit, and just watch it grind higher all day. That was a shit yesterday, man. Like when I scratched out of that 84 long, like I had nightmares about it last night. That's why I put limits at 84, 85, 86 on the SPOOs last night. And then I woke up and nothing was filled. And I was like, okay, well fuck. I wanted to revenge long it, but
Got a buy imbalance is stuck at 220 on Nasdaq. It's not good.
I
I
see
just
them
flat
too.
in here. I have one left anyway. It's not a big deal. Just give me one more push. Hey, crude. Nice. I got a short on crude. The one is taken out. Short 71.12. Was a better short up there. I think close to 30 or 40 was a better short. I was in here. Mhm.
This NAS is looking weaker. You're looking like shit. Yeah. See, that's the thing. That's why I hate scratching so much, man. Like yesterday was like there was no reason for me to scratch. Like I don't know. Scratching's the devil. Scratching can kiss my ass. It was like the first scratch I had in like months. And like look at what happened. Look at what happened. We traded 610 from there, up like 35 points. Like you're not 35, that's a little exaggeration, but whatever. Next time I have an itch like that, I'm just gonna cut my hand off so I know better next time. Listen, B 6,050, no worries. New all-time highs every chance it gets. Nasdaq, a little worrisome here. If I had to trade just based on voice commands, I feel like I do better. They're so trying to bid this Nasdaq. It just sucks butt in comparison to the spoos. Come on. There's a pretty big accumulation of negative delta right where we're trading at right now. Oh. You guys are having fun over there with the CL. What the hell? Making me slightly care.
Nice short, Michael. Where are you short from? Nice, Brian, too. Nice, good job, guys. 7140 was great. That's before the open, right? Or maybe I just wasn't here right off the open. But yeah, that's the short that should have been. I kind of got in short. I'll post it on Discord. The 10.
I think there was news just now.
Oh yeah.
It looks like it at least.
Just going over that data once again. Sentiment that was
Michigan.
73, so above the expected 71 and up from that prior of 70.5. Conditions were 64.4, so fell from the prior 64.9.
First time in a while that news is actually kind of going my way.
Increasing from the previous 74.1. And for those inflation expectations, 1 year was
Won't fail now though.
below the previous 2.7%, whilst 5 year ticked higher to 3.1%, up from 3%. Update for Nestle. They shut down Rotterdam refinery due to a fire, and they changed its guidance due to an unplanned shutdown of Rotterdam refinery.
How long we've been on this trade for?
Rotterdam refinery production down for several weeks. And just looking into that YoM report, they do say expectations over personal finances climbed 6%, in part due to strengthening income prospects and short-run business conditions soared 9% in November. Long-run business conditions increased to its most favorable reading in nearly 4 years. Note that interviews for this release concluded on Monday and thus do not capture any reactions to those election results.
Come on, Nasdaq, just follow through with the spoos. Go trade an all-time high. Keep rejecting this point of control. Nasdaq just looks a lot weaker here. I don't mind if it proves me wrong, though, you know? You guys hear the drilling? It's much less today.
No, I don't hear it.
Oh, nice. Oh, this fucking Nasdaq. These offers just keep coming in on this nose. One day too late indeed, Mike, unfortunately.
I still have long on 9Q.
What, you're out?
Yeah, but I kept like tapering.
Yeah,
Nothing
fair
now.
enough. Like this thing it looks pretty shit right now. Takes me out on the remainder too. Fine, so be it. I'm okay with this outcome. One left. And still one. Go for long though. All right, I'm out of this. I'm out of this Nasdaq. This like piece of shit looked a little weaker, anyways. Compared to the spoos, especially, I don't know. I don't trust this guy. I'm not a fan right now. I can't say I'm a fan of the continued buy side. Weaker tech. Back into the same low they got trapped last time, but seems like the aggression of the sell is hefty. Big boy sellers. Big boy buyers.
Just of note for DJT, Donald Trump said he has no intention of selling shares of Truth. So as President-elect Trump says has no intention of selling shares of Truth of no particular DJT.
These guys are like, in my opinion, still a little weaker here, but we'll see what they do.
Take it. Out on oil. That was a good trade, man. 71.10 down into 70.43. But can live with that. Nasdaq back into support. I'm kind of glad that I tapered. I kind of micromanaged that position a little bit, or like it wasn't going, and I kept taking it off until I had nothing. I could have missed on the upside if Nasdaq actually went
You trading big
downside.
one?
Yeah, yeah. Those two lots, yeah. The trade was on Discord, but I trade big oil. Does anybody trade small oil? Do you guys get slippage? I always wanted to ask that.
I don't trade small
Yeah,
oil.
I know,
I
I
would
know.
think there's slippage though.
Uh, you go back and forth, Michael. You ever got any slippage? That's good. That's good.
Just watching these equities. I haven't done anything in a while, just sitting on my ass. But there's weakness. I can tell you this much.
You ever widen the stops, Boxy, and like have it above certain level, like kind of like technical stops, or do you just lean on the bracket 918 most of the time?
No,
You try it.
I'll run, depending on market condition.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha. What's your need now in Cube, Vic? Are we still bullish, or you?
Nah, like I think I might have missed that short opportunity on the Nas. Like I don't know. Like yeah, they're trying to defend it on the bull side here with these like bids pretty much pre-market area where they tried to bid it, but like I don't know. The offer is pretty strong right now.
Fair, fair.
Like and ES is just like I think a little more potent here for the buy side.
Trying to get a third top step. I can. It's $80 shy, I see. YOLO, yes, mini low. Yeah, absolutely, Michael. Let's get it done now. Get it. If you're asking for wisdom, like you're not gonna get any. If you if you want risk motivation, I got you.
You really want to know how to YOLO, you're in the right spot.
Yeah.
I feel like this Nasdaq might just crack these lows.
Yeah. Like I wouldn't flip like completely bearish and start looking for a seller maybe until oh no man, damn, we're far from a lot of shit. It's just 140, 120. Below there, I'd consider a sell right now.
Yeah.
It's just that can be just a deeper pullback. Over the last 3 days, we just ran up so much. Like for me to attempt a short, it's suicidal almost.
100%.
Yeah, so I wanna I wanna try not to do that as much as possible, you know, especially on a Friday and stuff. Where would you give her another shot on the long, Vic? How about
Like
that?
honestly, around this area right now, like
Again,
yeah,
180s.
like 160s, I would say probably are expected to hold. But like, I don't know, like with Nasdaq right now, like I think that based on like the order flow and the reactions that are happening from the order flow,
Yeah, they're not
okay,
supporting the long too much.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah, I see it the same way too. Good area is just not enough confirmation. A level without confirmation is not okay. Do you use the EMAs or the Bollinger Bands, Boxy, to kind of get an idea on price? You use one of them?
No.
Mm, perfect. That's kind of
Shit.
awesome.
I have a proprietary system.
This is the EU.
That's like,
When you share your charts, I see like 3 lines just kind of like engulfing the price. So I thought that's either the EMAs or the Bollinger Bands. I wasn't sure, so I asked. Yeah, got you.
it's like when Jerome Powell yesterday was asked if he would step down if he was told to leave. He's like, no.
No,
Yeah, I saw that.
I'm not leaving. Fuck
They
you.
asked him like a bunch of questions after. He's like, no.
No.
Fucking legend. That's the only Fed chair I recognize. I was there when he printed. This is the thing, like whether it's like long or short, it's just like such a grindy little rotationary market that could like flip on a coin. Like, I don't know. I ain't trying to short or long either of these equities right now. S&P just does indeed look a lot better, though. I'll give it that much. Friday bite. Fuck, this bit is back in action. Pretty aggressively, too. Hmm. That buy into those 160s on Nasdaq doesn't look that terrible anymore. It's just like you're in an area into these 200s with like the potential of a lower high now. I don't know. A lot of negative delta accumulated there.
And it really is just worth drawing attention to price action in the crude space. WTI and Brent crude futures now just continue to move further lower, as my colleague did allude to. WTI now looking for a test of $70 to the downside, currently at 70.18. In terms of recent lows, top the low from the 6th of November at 69 at 74.
Starting to lose interest in this movement right now. Just continued bullish press from the SPOOs. Nasdaq like kind of on the fence of what it wants to do. Seems like Nas is trying to get a bunch of people stuck on the short at this high area. A lot of selling. That's not really going very far right now. This Nasdaq looks like it just wants to just expand higher. S&P close to a new all-time high.
Just noting some comments here from Citi's CEO Fraser, just noting they're expecting lighter regulation under Trump, and it's expecting Trump to be pro-growth and beneficial, and they're expecting lower capital raise than 9% in any rules. And notes that tariffs and tax policy do not happen overnight, but they may change.
Just an observer right now. Observing S&P about to rip a new high. Nasdaq though. Nasdaq failing a lot here. I'm honestly surprised that this Nasdaq is so weak in comparison right now. And Nasdaq struggling. For now. I would say like semi-uneventful day. I'll be honest with you. Oh, I just think he's popping up. I'm just not doing anything. I don't know. The way I see this is like I think that there is potential for this upside swing here on Nas. It looks a lot weaker, yeah, sure, but like the S&P just like keeps dragging along. I think it's just a matter of time before Nasdaq just like
has hit the $1 trillion
gets
market
its shit
cap,
together.
the first time since 2022.
Could be wrong about Nas. Very big hurdle at like these 205s on this Nas.
Note for Petrobras, that's the Brazilian state-run oil company. They're expected to reach the top of their investment guidance for 2024, according to their CFO.
So where do we go from here? Nas weakness versus S&P strength. Choose your fighter. Got a one trade during this session so far. Maybe it could have been two.
But from the Petrobras
It's kind of dead to me right now.
investments in 2025 could be higher than in 2024.
Vic, you want to throw up the early exit?
Time. As things stand right now, like the probability of me doing something is extremely low. Strong buying. Trying to come in here. A lot of imbalanced buying is trying to hold this NASDAQ up. Accumulating at this 200. S&P, the 19 now. It seems like the Nasdaq kind of wants to slip, but the S&P is holding it up just enough for it to continue, just like holding some bids. I wouldn't short the spoos, that's for sure. Nasdaq, decent pull down. Let's see if there's anything material here because these guys like to do this shit. You just have like so many imbalances that have been created here that are stalling things from actually moving whatever direction it is. It's like you think direction's happening, bam, imbalance. Fuck you, reversal. The game of cat and mouse. Nasdaq trying to sell, S&P trying to offer. Perfect. Cute attempted offer on Nasdaq just finds a fucking stuck short, rebids aggressively. Some selling is trying to desperately come through on the spoos, but like nice try. Make believe. Make believe. A lot of people getting trapped on this NAS. I'm like, fuck, do I just like buy this? Should I be a buyer? Like, look at this on this NAS. That's what I've been watching here. Like, comes down, gets trapped, rebids multiple times over. I don't think these sellers are gonna do anything here. Like, look at this S&P, like unbeatable. Unbelievable. The rebids from that area are pretty fierce too. Like from 170-ish NASDAQ. Oh, 170 is bullshit. 175. Not even. They like barely traded that too. It's like, what's going on with the spoos into these highs? Giga untradable. Hmm. Let's see where these guys go. Well, like you're getting to a point where it's just like wishy-washy back and forth shit. Nasdaq should be trading higher right now. IMO. Everyone trapped into these mid 170s on NAS. Do they get untrapped right now? Doesn't seem like it. It's very similar to like the rotations that we saw earlier. Maybe you see a head fake and then they just like go in this turbo bid and then just ship the bed because they can't rebid into higher prices. Eh, ugly price action right now. S&P hanging around highs like a freaking stupid day. Hmm. As they're trying to come in on the bid. Legit on the spooch, just get along. Like I like this Nasdaq from these like 170s. They're trying to hold pretty okay, but like it's just such a weaker market. I showed you guys those imbalances on the delta there. Question is, can we just like fucking go up or is it going to be a struggle again? Nasdaq looks like doo doo. This S&P, wow. Champion of the world. Nas ripping a nice bid from mid 170s. It's just like, this is piece of shit market ever going to catch up? Seems like I might get my answer, and it could be no. Rebids are holding strong on this Nas. S&P, wow. Like, how is this Nas not caught up right now? Demonic. Uneventful, honestly. I might just cap it here for this session. They're holding pretty decent bid from like people getting trapped on the Nas, which I like. Let's see if we can actually make new highs. S&P just continues to make new all-time highs every chance it gets. So, yeah. Why don't we run our little poll here? Pretty good early exit poll. Jeffrey, I see you raise your hand. I don't know when you raise your hand, but no need to raise hands in my classroom. Yeah. Everyone's ready for Trump tweets again.
Hey, you are okay. Yeah. Right, around 5 minutes currently for the hour. Of course, a vote is scheduled to be on the docket. But given the Federal Reserve meeting this week was on Thursday, they are still in blackout. Not expecting any comments on monetary policy, but just making you aware, Bowman is scheduled for the topic of the hour.
Oh, sure. We got a Fed speaker scheduled. Top of the hour. Spooz sold off a little from that new high. Nas is like trying to, I guess.
Okay, TradePro Academy, let's close this poll out. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Great Flower is also pretty solid with the pre, or I guess early poll numbers. I don't think today was like quote unquote easy. I think capital preservation Friday, maybe one trade. Spoo's just completely out of the question, in my opinion.
Yeah,
I have one trade here today.
same.
Could have had two.
One trade Nasdaq, one trade oil, and that was it. Not much movement, so can't really trade that environment, honestly. The good trade was on the overnight. Good work on picking that up, Vic. Honestly, that was a really good trade. And I woke up, I was like, ah, Vic is gonna be long, and
Yeah,
as
I thought I was long
anticipated.
both of them when I woke up, but like I didn't fill the second one. I didn't fill the Spoo's.
You don't get all of full fills when you're layering in and go
No,
to
no.
sleep, you know? It's
Yeah.
like, yeah. Thank you for the numbers, Buxy. Appreciate it, Habibi.
Absolutely.
You want to do a wrap up on oil?
Sure. So, oil's been fairly well trending down since just after the opening range closed out at 905. We came down and we're on a solid downtrend until about 1020, and then we started kind of working our way back. We are currently making sideways to a little higher highs and higher lows. So it's back to a range. Currently, there's a range set. The bottom is 70.25. The top is up in the 70.50s, mid 50s. So I would treat it as a range until
Now
that
the
70.56
for
got
March
broken.
from
And
moment
then
is
if that
course-
gets broken to the upside, you could get long for a run to the VWAP. Whatever you do, monitor your risk, trade like a trade pro, and preserve that capital. Gentlemen, thank you for another great day, another great week. I hope you both have a great rest of today and a great weekend. That goes for all of TradePro Academy. And we'll see everybody on Monday. Ciao.
Thank you, Buxy. Appreciate you, sir. 75% on the poll results. Great results, guys. Good work today. Not a lot of opportunity, honestly, the way I seen it today, especially off the open. That like all we got was like a shallow pullback. Picked it up on the anticipation that it'll break a higher high. Nasdaq really couldn't do that. We got a decent run off it from like the 80s up, but like we couldn't really get to or break the high around 252. So yeah, keeping that in mind, like trading smaller, like trading lesser in this environment, honestly, is the best way to go. There is an established direction, but not a lot of movement. The bigger mover today was oil, so that was more tradable. Honestly, outside of the trade that Vic did on Nasdaq, great trade that I didn't see much else going on. So regardless, good work today. 75%. Love to see it. Let's keep it up. And yeah, see you guys next week. Victoria, back to you, bro.
Yeah, pretty solid movement, I would say, here on the day. Like this last potential opportunity here on Nasdaq into those like 160s I was talking about. Or not 160s, 170s. My mistake that I was talking about was okay for the long side. It's just like these fucks on Nasdaq, they don't want to go anywhere, man. They don't want to put in the work to catch those juicy bids to the upside swing like the S&P. It's not the same battle. So be a little more weary of this Nasdaq the way that it's going, right? Like there is the potential we crack down a little more, but that's very dependent on the S&P. And the weakness that comes out of the S&P, I think that's one of the main things that we should look at as traders. So let's go from there. I'm very cautious of the Nas today, and let's see what we have in the afternoon on Discord. But yeah, like we talked a bit about that fast track stuff today. I don't know. I personally like it's shitty, but I don't think anything comes of it. I'm gonna be honest with you. Like I think that there is just gonna end up nothingness. So unfortunately, but let's see what we get in Discord today, people. We'll take a look at these markets and see what kind of opportunities get presented for us. And there could be something, right? There could be something. I'm just very cautious with this Nasdaq not really running with the S&P here, right? That's a major concern for me as things stand. But I think that if SPOOs show weakness, this Nasdaq's going to get killed. So let's go from there, people. Thanks. Enjoy the weekend. Thanks for streaming with us, and we'll do it again next week.
Awesome, Vic. Awesome, Trade Pros. Take care, guys. Enjoy your weekend.